What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Lowdown. I got a lot to talk about today, so let's jump right in. Now, the first thing I want to talk about today is this weekend, defensive back for the Denver Broncos, Aqib Talib, was shot in a Dallas nightclub. Luckily, the shot was non-fatal and he is set for a full recovery. However, a timeline has not been released yet. Unfortunately for him, though, he also had to miss the Monday trip to the White House with the rest of the team. Now, not a lot of information has come out about it yet. All that's basically been said is an unknown suspect let off 2 shots, one inside the club and one in the parking lot. It hasn't even been released yet which of those 2 Aqib was. Now, also a good thing to note is though, Aqib Talib was just released yesterday as of when this video comes out, so that's good to hear. However, he was also way too drunk, he said, to remember anything, so he's not going to be that much help to the investigation. And next I want to talk about another new change by the NFL to the game. So as of this upcoming season, the NFL will be changing the touchback rule. Previously, when you took a knee in the end zone, the ball would be placed at the 20-yard line. Now they're moving it out to the 25-yard line. Now, this is all part of the NFL's efforts to decrease the amount of special teams plays in the game, as they feel the most dangerous play on the game. But bringing it out to the 25, players will be way more encouraged to take a knee, as it'll give their offense better field position. Now, on the flip side of that, though, if you're kicking and you know that they're going to probably get it at the 25 instead of the 20, teams will be less likely to put it over the top and give it to them at the 20, and I think probably more likely to do a deep squib kick. And because of that, I actually think we'll see more runouts and returns because of that. Now, one of the greatest returners of all time, Devin Hester, obviously chimed into this saying he didn't agree with it, but it wasn't just because he liked returning kicks. Now, the reason he doesn't agree with it is because he says the NFL doesn't realize, yes, they're trying to make the game more safe and eliminate special teams play, which they deem the most dangerous. But at the same time, they're taking jobs away from players that have really specific skill sets that are great for returning. And it's also special teams is 1/3 of the game. I don't think they should be able to start to eliminate that part of the game, as it's really important. Now, yes, you could be saying you're eliminating jobs from players, but at the same time, you have to you're showing that players, if they want to earn all the money they want nowadays, you have to make yourself more versatile to the team. When you're looking at guys like Dexter McCluster or Darren Sproles, they went from years ago just doing straight up returns. Now they're starting to work themselves more into the running game and that kind of thing. Jacoby Jones is a dual threat as a returner and a receiver, so maybe they're just trying to show that you also have to make yourself more versatile and worth that money that you want to be paid. It's also good to note, though, that the 10-year veteran said out of his 276 kicks he returned throughout his 10 years, not one of them he received a concussion on. He only received 1 concussion, and he didn't specify where else it was. All right, next I want to talk about 2 major changes coming to the Pro Bowl this upcoming year. So now, as of later today, when this video is released, the NFL is set to announce a multi-year deal to move the Pro Bowl from previously Honolulu, Hawaii to Orlando, Florida. Now, in the past, Orlando has held some All-Star games in the 80s and 90s, but not a lot as frequently as Honolulu has. But with similar climates and possibly easier to travel to, as you don't have to go over the ocean if you're coming from anywhere else in the States or Canada, it might be easier to access and try and bring out more fans. However, this is going to be devastating for the Hawaiians, as they always talk about how they love supporting the Pro Bowl, and it's a really fun event for them as they don't have their own NFL team. Again, though, it's not a lifetime deal, so maybe if it doesn't work out, then they'll go back to Honolulu in the future. Also, they are bringing back the traditional AFC versus NFC format, opposed to the one of the past couple years where they did the team captain format, where they'd have players and Hall of Famers draft teams and have their draft teams face one-on-one, like Team Rice versus Team Irving. Now, although I found that format actually way more entertaining than the actual Pro Bowl, the reason they're probably doing this is because the last 2 years, the Pro Bowl has received its 2 lowest ratings ever. In 2015, they received a 5.6, and last year they received a 5.0. Now, I don't think it's entirely the fault of the team captain format, though. I think over the years, the Pro Bowl has become less desirable to players and less entertaining to watch because players are too concerned about getting hurt when they have these massive contracts. So I think more the issue is the Pro Bowl format, and maybe they should move to more of a skills where they do one-handed catches and speed drills and that kind of stuff. So maybe if they moved away from the game format and more to the skills challenges, kind of like the NBA All-Star Game and the NHL All-Star Game, the skills nights, I think it might be a little more successful. But we'll see if it pays off for them this year, and maybe they'll make changes in the future if this doesn't work as well. And the last story I want to talk about today is after last week I talked about the Steelers starting to use high-tech dummies. The Cowboys have followed their suit and are starting to use high-tech footballs. So all the running backs now are using footballs with built-in speakers and pressure points. Now, these pressure points are supposed to set off when the ball is tucked high and tight. Now the 5 sensors on the ball are supposed to emphasize the 5 points of contact you want when the ball is high and tight. I'm not sure they are, I was never a running back. But basically, when all 5 points of contact are made, the ball's going to let off a loud beep. Now this loud beeping noise makes it easier for coaches to monitor their running backs without having to look at them at one time, as there's a lot of movement. It can also see that they're carrying it high and tight when they're going through piles, that kind of stuff, where they actually can't see they have it high and tight. It also helps the players mentally prepare themselves by getting used to that beeping noise, right? They're going to be hearing that beep sing all practice long. And there was only one major signing for this week, so Jacksonville Jaguars wide receiver Allen Hurns signed a 4-year extension off his rookie deal for a 4-year, $40 million contract. Now before this contract, if he didn't sign this extension this year, he'd only be making $600,000. Now he's making $10 million. And I think he deserves it. After how well he performed for me in fantasy this year, I think he's earned it, so I'm really excited to pick him up next year, and we'll see where it goes. Alright guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Lowdown. If you liked the video, don't forget to hit that like button. If you really liked it though, don't forget to share it. Also subscribe, as I put out usually around 3 videos every week, so subscribe. Now if you're liking the Lineman Football shirts, they're not out yet, but if you're watching this video at a later time, they'll be one of the first links in the description down below. Also go check out all my social media, preferably my Instagram, as that's my favorite place to get information out to you guys. And yeah, thanks.